I can see there's a lot of energy in the room. We would rather have to pull you in than not have any energy and you be sitting there for 5 minutes waiting for us. So let's debrief a little bit, and let's look first from the aspect of when you were being coached. What was it like when you were being coached? How did it feel? What did you notice? Denton.
It's nice when you get to talk to somebody not in your direct department sometimes about different things. Because they don't know what your department is.
Yeah. So it felt good to talk to somebody totally outside of your department. Yeah. Yes. Denton and I are China buddies. We have. Yes. Yes.
For me, it was a lot of some of the stuff that I talked about I'd already thought in my head, but then just saying it out loud, I think as I was starting to say it, I was like, I figured this part out already, but then as I kind of went through it, I was like, wait a minute, no, but that's real. I need it. Yeah. And so it was strange because I felt like just externalizing what I've already been thinking and having someone listen, like, reaffirms that that's what I should be doing.
Yeah. So she's saying actually just verbalizing what she'd already thought made it more tangible. And again, there is research that shows that you're more likely to take action if you say it out loud. Yes, Kathy.
Well, I would echo that. I think I was a little, it seemed overwhelming, the thing I need to work on. And I recognize that, yeah, I do need to focus this and give me some tools that I can learn here that I can now apply to my problem.
Yeah. So initially it seemed really big, and you realized you need to break it down, and the coaching happened. Back in the back?
Well, something like when I'm explaining to my coach the problem that I'm actually having formulating a solution in that process. So that's not what I discovered.
What you discovered is that when you were talking is that you were already in the formulation process of formulating a solution. Yeah, great. Hopefully that felt good. Yes. Yes.
A discovery I had was if there's a hiccup in communication where, like, I thought as a coachee that I had explained myself and identified my problem, and then my coach went on a different track, it was disheartening. And, like, it felt like my problem was more overwhelming, and it was really hard to pause the coach and say, well, no, really, we're off track. That's not what I wanted at all. And it was hard. It made it work. But, like, because we were here, I did that. But as a student, if I'd been in a real coach situation, I don't know if I'd ever look back.
So you just kind of recognize the sensitivity of the communication process and how vulnerable you are. Good insight, yes.
I think it's nice to have somebody on your side to say, yes, that other person was wrong. Sometimes when you're talking to some people, they take the other side of, the opposition and say, well, did you do this? Did you do this? And you're just like, well, yes, I did. And it's like, well, it seems like you're taking those steps. What can we do further to kind of change? So it's nice to have somebody that seems like they're on your side about your decision and help you take it one step further.
So just him being aligned with you automatically was encouraging for you moving forward. Great. Well, oh, yes.
I think it was surprising how much, even though Amrita and I were in very different fields, I was able to, sort of talk about an IT project, and just a completely outside perspective was extremely helpful for me identifying, oh yeah, I do really need a timeline, and even though my job has a lot of, sort of last minute stuff, I can still sort of put an hourly mark, 3 hours into it, I want to move on to this next thing, so I'm not spinning my wheels. And just get a way to look at it from a completely new light.
Yeah. So a new perspective, an outside objective perspective was really helpful. And the timeline, the timing.
Asking questions and sort of that outside way.
Yeah. Well, how about now we'll turn to you as the coach. What felt more comfortable? Because we know, Jane and I know, that many of you, it's not like you're coming in fresh, and that you've never used any of these techniques. We know we're talking to a room full of professionals, that it could be 90% or all of these things that you already use. It maybe just wasn't termed that way. So in being the coaches, what felt really comfortable? You felt really effective? What was really working when you were the coach? So just mentally taking on that you didn't have a defined endpoint.
Yeah, being open to this being a joint discovery.
Yes.
And resolution, and letting the coachee lead.
So the openness, the discovery process, letting the coachee lead felt really good. Yes?
I like to find the hourglass model while I was discussing it, and I could see I was going through the focus, getting to that point, and then watching the scenes together, and then come back up again.
Uh-huh. So you were very aware. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So you felt, gave you confidence, the model, and you could see your... Yes. The sands are falling. Great. Back in the back. Yeah. And so the discovery part was great. The action items, you felt you were aware of you tending to want to solve the problem as opposed to keeping the coachee. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that is incredibly common. So that tension, that challenge is incredibly common. Back in the back and then up here. Yeah. Yeah. So it felt really good to not take ownership, to know you could not solve her problem. I think that's a really good insight in terms of, especially if we're using the coaching with students, with our advisees, with supervisees, that we go into that mode of how is this going to affect me, impact me, and it is hard to stay in the coaching mode long enough to let the coachee come to some discoveries, because then as supervisor or as advisors, we still have decisions to make. Just because their solution is, they've got an action plan doesn't automatically mean we have to get in line with that. But emotionally, it's a squishy spot. I call it squishy spots, that, uh-oh, I'm tied in here. Yes, right up here.
I was having the same issue. So the first half of our conversation, I felt like I was hitting a wall because I was trying to give her solutions. And then I realized that there's a reason why someone's not being able to make a decision, and it's usually some sort of anxiety or apprehension or fear.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of had her imagine, the worst-come situation and how that would make her feel, and then work backwards from there.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped me, but it was the same issue.
Yeah. So getting into the solution mode as opposed to the discovery mode with solutions, it helped you recognize that you had a point of moving into that. Yeah. We didn't talk about the whole concept of ambivalence at all, which is a huge concept that if we don't get in line with the ambivalence, the solution action will backfire. So great insight. Jane?
Yeah. No, the only thing I would add to all of this is just note, I'm standing close to share so that it will get recorded. So all of those things that you said you experienced when you were the person being coached, that you can expect that's what the people that you're coaching are also dealing with. And so being coached actually helps you be a better coach, because you can have the empathy that goes with that. You know where they're coming from. You can actually even, kind of calm some of their anxiety about a coaching conversation because you've been there, because you were being coached. So, you know what? You have about 100+ friends in this room. It doesn't have to stop today. You can continue to coach each other. This is all a grassroots effort. We're all here because we're passionate about it. We see the potential in it and that type of thing. So don't stop here. And the best coaches, hands down, the best coaches are people who are coached. So you want to learn from both sides of that conversation.
So 1 or 2 more comments, and then we'll move to Jennifer. Yes? So you're using the analogy of like in an interview, you have the age, race, sexual orientation, marital status that you can't ask. This was feeling a little bit the same, that you were trying to think of what should I not ask? Yeah. And I think Jane kind of addresses that when it's you don't have to, I'll let you talk about it.
Well, if you keep in mind that what we're trying to create in a coaching conversation is brain activity in the other brain, we don't have to know any of the answers to the questions that they already know. We don't have to, so all of the questions that you gave as examples of things that you have to stay away with, they already know the answer to all of that. Okay, so we don't have to ask those kinds of questions. What we're after is very succinct, concise, open-ended questions that create this database search of their brain that are connections they haven't made yet. So there's the list of inappropriate questions is really diminished. We're not going to ask them things that they obviously already know the answer to. We're going after, what is it that you don't know? Write that one down. That's a coaching question. What is it that you don't know? What is it that you want? What is it, and usually the more concise, the better.
And coachees, or students, staff, are very forgiving if the safety is there, if the discovery mode is there. It doesn't matter the exact wording of the question. In fact, I just had a student that's a master's student that's a new counselor, and she was asking all closed questions. But she still got to a positive place with the student because the student knew what she was going for, that she really was asking discovery questions, even though she was asking it in a closed way. The student kind of took it as an open. So we have a lot of forgiveness. There's a lot of freedom. You don't have to worry about the exact wording. I mean, yes, we all get better at those things, but it doesn't have to be all right and wrong. So now we're moving to Jennifer and Marcia. Jennifer?
Well, at this point, we're not quite done, but I want to do acknowledgments, so please join me in thanking our speakers again. And if you guys will come up here, we have some gifts.
Anything that has for you on it, actually.
Well, thank you. I echo Jennifer's sentiments. You guys, this is not your day job, and you did an awesome job, so we are so appreciative. Thank you. And I'd also like to, I'm the co-chair of the workshop team, and I'd like to thank my team here this morning. Charlie Lyons is the other co-chair, and then our team is Allie Mears, Siobhan Austin, Jacqueline Brown, Jason Boren, Lupita Acosta-Roberts, and Mary York. I know several of you are here today, and you helped in the background, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
And then I'd like to thank Marcia Freeland. She mentioned that she's the chair, but I don't know if she had put her name in there. She and Charlie Lyons were the co-chair for putting on this workshop. So of that whole team she mentioned, they did this, brought this together. So let's give Marcia a round of applause as well. And definitely we find this to be very successful today because of you, the audience. You guys have been fantastic. We are yet going to do one more interactive activity, but I want to get you out of here a little bit early. It's always fun to get out a little bit early, so I want to make sure I got these acknowledgments in because they're important. In addition to the workshop team, I wanted to thank the executive committee for the Purdue coaching community, Hannah Doolin, who is in here today, Sean Eddington, I mentioned Marcia, Charlie Lyon, and Jane Cresswell as well, coming from the community to help us. And additional steering committee members that may not have been mentioned with the workshop: Jacqueline Brown, Audrey Cowling, Carol Jacobson, Jill Lynn, Tony Munguia, and Christina Voigt. So I extend thanks on behalf of all of us to those members who have helped bring this together today. And this is a great place for me to plug that if you are interested in getting involved with the direction and vision of this and using some of your strengths you may have learned about today in the workshop to continue to forge this community forward, please reach out to any one of us whose names that I mentioned. Okay, activity. So this is a key point because, as our speakers have said, you've learned some information today, and what we don't want you to do is walk out with that information in a styrofoam food container. We don't want you to just throw it out. So this is where we're going to do action planning based on what you've heard today. And we're going to turn the tables on those of you who are instructors in the room and like to use Think, Pair, Share. That's what we're going to do here, probably for a few minutes each person. You're going to pair up again. The thinking part is, as I'm talking, you are hopefully have had a chance to read the statement up there, what we would ask you to do. So your thinking is thinking for yourself. Okay, I've heard a lot of great information. How am I going to apply this? What am I going to walk away with? And what's my timeline to assure I do it, and who's going to hold me accountable? I think it's reasonable to do something before spring break. That's about 90 days out. And you can make this action item as big or small as you want. So hopefully, if you need any examples of what we're talking about here, you can raise your hand and ask us. So the pairing part, thinking part's thinking on your own. The pairing is what you've been doing. If you want to change it up and pair with someone different, go right ahead. You'll coach each other for a few minutes, I would say, to help develop an action plan and accountability. And then we'll wrap it up with a few more announcements and we'll be done. Any questions about what we're going to do right now? Okay. And then did you want to add anything, either of our facilitators, to that? Okay, so we'll start the timer here shortly, and after a few minutes, we'll have you swap. So each of you have a chance to talk about your action plan. All right, go to it. I know you've got it. Clap once if you hear me. Clap twice if you hear me. Clap 3 times if you hear me. Big! Woo! It's actually, I hired a teacher about a year ago to help me with the K-12 outreach that I do, and she's the one who taught me that. Of course, a kindergarten teacher would know something like that to get attention. So before I wrap up with some quick announcements, would anyone like to share their action plan or how they plan to integrate this? Whether it's into advising or mentoring or supervising or teamwork or teaching, or I hope somebody in here thought of, collectively, we've thought of some ways to apply it in one or more of those areas. So, yes?
I work in advising and international engineering, so I would like to have a meeting with my staff to go over that and see how we can incorporate this.
Excellent. Oh, I love that. So if you didn't hear it, she would like to have a meeting with her staff to see how to incorporate this. And let me offer to you the resources of the coaching community. Reach out to us if we can help in some way. We extend that to anyone. That, as Jane had alluded to, you sign up to be on a part of the community, the listserv. It doesn't cost anything, and you will learn. We'll get more of this organized, but you'll be able to see who is a coach already and would be willing to come and talk to you and your group. So thanks. I'm glad you mentioned that. And one more?
Having that spring break thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sitting out in spring break and then working backwards.
Yep.
All of a sudden I realized I made a commitment to my boss about putting on some workshops for our new faculty. And was like, oh my gosh, in 6 months I'm going to be reviewed on this.
Mm-hmm.
What happened so fast?
Mm-hmm.
I got to get something going, which means next week I really need to have the topics figured out. And it was in that significant date in the future that helped me.
Uh-huh. So it's like the coaching helped you work out something within your job, and maybe one of those, if coaching is a useful workshop, could faculty utilize coaching somewhere, like in their teaching or whatever? Yeah. How many faculty do we have in here? I'm hoping that there's still a few excellent. We want to encourage and have faculty come to more of these, so if we can help with a coaching workshop like this with faculty, that would be wonderful. Okay, I promise I get you out of here early, so quick miscellaneous things are, if you haven't started filling out the evaluation already, please do so, and you can leave that at the table or leave that outside at a table as we leave. There was an ever important question about where did the excellent food come from? Fresh City Market. So I wanted to share that. If you were wondering about the PowerPoints that were handed out, but also my PowerPoint, we will put these on the Purdue Coaching Community blog, which is getting started. And let's see here. Here is just so you can see what it looks like, but we will send this link to you. And that we'll have a link to the books that were used as references by Jane, so you can easily click on those. So wanted to mention that. And then I guess the last thing is just reiterate a couple slides that I was showing at the start. That was I didn't want to go there. But just to let you know for the future how we'll be using any feedback that you provide to us is topics for future workshops, special interest groups. You know, if you have an interest, you work with graduate students or you work with a specific population of undergraduate students and you want to get together with colleagues to discuss best practices for coaching those groups. That's what we mean by special interest groups. We may create our own badge using some of the systems that Purdue has here for, you know, Purdue-sanctioned coaching, but also I'm a certified coach, Jane's a certified coach, Cher's a certified coach, with different affiliations nationally known, so we can help in bringing those kinds of certifications here. And then, as we've mentioned, we'll have venues to practice with each other and reach out to each other. If you have other ideas, please let us know. And what do I have on the last slide? Oh, yep, just staying involved. We will send an email out to everyone with this information and links that are easily accessible to the blog, and we look forward to seeing you at future events. We'll do one of these big workshops once a semester with smaller events here and there. So thank everybody again. Thank you for being here. Thank our organizers and our speakers, and have a wonderful day.